Welcome, everyone, for the first time in 2023. My name is Tommo, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Eric, Narts, Curtis, Worms, Rasmus, Ollie, Curtis, Rosie, Mikey, Mocha. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all taking the time. Thank you to everyone who's here live and everyone who's here not live, because a lot of you listen to me waffle when I'm not live, so you can skip, which I don't blame you, you know? It's kind of what I do now, though. But thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, everyone, for turning up. Mini Ninja, Eric, Wood Tom, Seth, Ryan, Aaron, Bradley, Adonis, Chow, Tactical Watermelon. Nice. If you got a unique name, I'm more likely to see it. Just a hint, a tip, you know. If you got a strong profile picture and a unique name, then I'm more likely to see it. But thank you all for coming. First time in 2023. I've somewhat got my set looking half decent. Okay, I've got my lovely piece of art that I had commissioned, which you can't see properly, but it's very cool. Might be doing something more with that later in the future. We'll see. Later in the future. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I also put my plaque up on the wall. There you go. Nicely framed. But otherwise, not much has changed. Still need a haircut. We've got people in doing our bathroom at the minute. So we've had to be showering at I had to go to my mum's yesterday to have a shower. Yeah, just feels a bit horrible when you don't have a shower or a bath. Fortunately, we've got a toilet downstairs, so it's fine. Also, I had a shocker. On Thursday, Monday today. On Thursday, I didn't think I was going to die, but I was in a really bad way. I had a I had a kidney stone, which, if you know what kidney stone is, it's the most painful thing in the world. And I passed out twice. I was in so much pain, but we're fine. We move. I'm alive. Yeah, not good. I'm not even 30 yet. And I'm getting kidney stones. Yeah, it was horrible. But never mind. I'm alive. We're fine. I thought you know what? This is really sad. But part of me, because I thought it was either a kidney stone or appendix. And they were worried about appendix because it was on the same side as my appendix. And it wasn't an appendix. And part of me was like, oh, it would have been such a good tweet if I'd have had to have my appendix out. Because I'd have been like, Albon had his appendix out. I'd have had mine, you know? Drink more water. Yeah, I know. I'm drinking a lot of water. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not putting myself through that pain again. So I'm doing everything. But yeah, copying Alex exactly. But anyway, I'm alive. We're here. We're fine. It's 2023. I'm very excited for this season. Of course, haven't been live yet this year. I've got a video coming later this week. No surprises what that's going to be. All the talk at the moment, as you can see in this title, is all going to talk a bit about it now. Because in the video, I want to talk about what I think Cadillac Andretti might look like. My what if blank joins F1 series. I'm doing that with Cadillac Andretti. No point keeping that secret. But today, I just kind of want to talk more about it as a topic as well. But yeah, why is there a race? Some people seem to get the old. So when I set up these live streams, I'll use a previous live stream as a template for all the tags and that. And sometimes for some people, they will see the old thumbnail or the old title, like a small portion. I don't understand it. Thank you, Michael. Sorry, Michelle or Michael? From my video with Atsu went down well, I think. I was pretty happy with that. But we'll talk about Andretti Cadillac anyway. There's a lot to talk about there. But before we get into that, I just want to briefly, because if you don't know, there's been a lot of chat online today about WTF1 because Matt and Tommy are leaving, and obviously I'm not going to sit here and say anything on their regard. But I did used to work for WTF1. Some of you might not know that. I used to freelance there when my channel first started to take off. When was it? I got furloughed from my job, And so this was in 2020. And then I had Jess and Matt and Tommy all on my podcast. And then we got chatting and I freelanced with them for the rest of that year. So I spent over half a year there. A lot of the skits that we used to do on IBR, where like Matt had his Michael Schumacher Shrine and the Valtteri Bottas song and all that, I was filming those and I kind of edited all the stuff together there as well. So, but yeah, like there's been a lot to talk about, obviously, and I just wanted to mention it and just say, you know, the future is we'll see what they're up to next, but hopefully the people coming in as well, Dre, Hannah, there's a lot of people coming in. You know, WTF1's the biggest independent F1 YouTube channel out there, and I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see what direction they take it in now. But you know, I think that, you know, everything happens for a reason in life. There's always opportunities. There's always things to do, and yeah, I look forward to see what Matt and Tommy are going to do themselves, because they're definitely going to be sticking around in the F1 space, no doubt about that. It's just yeah, but sometimes change isn't a bad thing, you know. Change is an important part of life. But also, I know some of you probably hear like, did they get kicked out? I'm not, come on now. I'm not saying nothing, all right? That's up to them to say what I don't even know at the end of the day. So I'm not going to speculate. But they're all good people. Matt, Tom, Katie, all great people. So I look forward to seeing whatever any of them are doing. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah. Oh, hello, Sam. What are you doing here? What is your profile picture, Sam? I can't even recognise what that is. But anyway, feel free to speculate in the chat. But I've said my piece. Right. Escalade safety car. Who approves the idea of a Escalade speculative conjecture? Exactly. Speculative conjecture 101. All right. I'm not here to speculate. I think I've moved my camera slightly. Hang on. Try and twist it a little bit that way. I think that's better. There we go. Who wants an Escalade safety car? Even if you put like a brand new Escalade, it still wouldn't be fast enough to keep up with even the Aston Martin safety car is not fast enough. Which, you know, it's a shame because it sounds amazing. I love the Aston Martin safety car. Oh, they're pretty split down the middle, you know. You're pretty split down the middle. Damn. Oof. Samsung. Oh, brilliant. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one, right? Because of all the brands that GM have now, they have Cadillac, Chevrolet, Buick. What else do they have? They don't have anywhere near as many as they used to, because they sold, GMC, which is like trucks. So they've got like 4 car brands. And like Buick are just rebadged like Vauxhalls. Chevrolet, you would say, has more kind of racing pedigree, but I guess the idea is a, like I said this on Twitter, it's like a rebranding exercise somewhat for Cadillac to kind of make Cadillac change the image of Cadillac to be more of a performance brand, because at the moment it's kind of the perception of Cadillac, at least to me, is kind of luxury, expensive, but not performance, you know. But I mean, if it was with Chevrolet, like Andretti Chevrolet in F1, I think there'd be even more excitement for it. But I just feel like, obviously, whatever GM want to do with these brands, I guess Chevrolet already have kind of a sporty, like they're well established in motorsports, more so than Cadillac. Corvette safety car versus Escalade safety car. See, I'd rather have a Corvette safety car, but yeah, we'll see. I think they want to go down the Merc EQS route. Yes, Rohit, literally. So Cadillac, because they've dropped a few like electric cars, and they look decent. You know what I mean? Like that. They don't look like low quality, poor quality cars at all. You know what I mean? They look decent. Thank you, Nicholas, for the donation. Do you know if Kate? I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. But yeah, obviously, yeah, the Cadillac have got the V Series, yeah, of course, which is their performance line. But again, I guess it's like, does this indicate a desire for Cadillac to? Because at the moment, as far as I'm aware, they're only really active in the US. Do Cadillacs sell in Europe at all? I don't believe they do. But yeah, I think it's one of them that they've chosen that brand. Andretti have gone to GM, been like, cool, we'll help you out. Let's attach Cadillac to it. Boom. Tick all the boxes. Get it through the door. Only imported. Yeah, I didn't think so. So that's the thing. It's like putting Cadillac on a world stage when you only sell cars in America is a bit odd. But then again, Alpine literally make one car. One car. One. Make more. Like, keep it as Renault until you've got more cars to shift, surely. Surely. I don't get it. Look, obviously, yeah, sure, when Alpine do eventually release more cars, which I'm sure they will, I think they've got like an electric Renault 5 they're going to work on. I'm just like, you got one car, bruv. One. Keep Renault. You got loads of Renaults. You know what I mean? Cadillacs aren't even popular in the US. Well, so, because GM is the 7th highest revenue automotive manufacturer in the world, behind Ford, actually. So Cadillac, Buick, and Chevrolet and GMC combined have less revenue than Ford. Does Ford own any other brands? Obviously, they sell one F-150 every 0.1 of a second. Lincoln. Oh yeah, Lincoln. Yeah, but that's not GM, is it? That's Ford, yeah. Yeah, Ford own. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I remember when I was in the States last year, and I remember seeing some Lincolns and being like, they look like Fords, but I didn't actually know that Ford owned them. Mercury. Ford owns Jeep, really? Is it? No. My boyfriend just bought a Cadillac ATS. This is great for us. Good for you, Socks. Happy to hear that. The value of your Cadillac ATS is just shot through the roof. Imagine if they went with Buick. Oh, imagine if they went with GM. No, that wouldn't make any sense. No, Buick wouldn't make any sense either, to be fair. Jeep F1 team. Dodge owns Jeep. Yeah, I don't think. No. Ford doesn't own Jeep. What are you talking about? But yeah. Question is, right, and Mohammed Ben Sulayem tweeted, I think he tweeted out earlier today, or he's been quoted saying, like, 12 teams is the ideal, right? Would we say? I did a poll on Twitter, and it was vast majority of people said 12, but I'm going to do a quick poll here. So 10, 11, 12, or 13 plus. Ideal number of F1 teams. Because it feels like 12 is ideal, right? And I guess the one thing, right? Because fan sentiment and generally speaking, I'm all for it. I'm all for Andretti Cadillac coming into F1. The only thing is that if we are going to limit it to 12 teams, which I think is the right number, sporting number, 24 cars, 12 teams, I'm cool with that. Any more and it gets a bit too much, I think. I think 12 is a nice... We've had that number before. It's a nice round number. Happy with that. But obviously we've got 2 spots left. Now, the demand seems to be high. There's been talk of Honda. We know Porsche are interested. Hyundai, maybe. They've signed Cyril Beatable to their WRC program. There's talk of that. Potentially being a route in for Hyundai. And there's probably lots of other big brands, big manufacturers. Panthera as well. I didn't even mention them. Panthera Team Asia, I think it would be under. There's been a lot of talk around that potentially being a thing. I think Panthera have been a thing for a while. There's only 2 spots. So I feel like the FIA and F1 owe it to themselves to not just jump at the first, because Andretti have made the most noise and they're clearly doing everything they can. You know, had a bid that was strong, but maybe not strong enough. And now with Cadillac's backing, it ticks all the boxes. But I do think it would be wrong for the FIA and F1 to immediately jump. Like, again, exactly what MBS said, kind of open the doors, see what offers come in, see how many serious offers you've got, and then go from there. Obviously, Andretti put themselves in a really strong position. But say, for example, all of a sudden Porsche were like, right, we're going to have a works team from scratch. And then, say, Honda were like, and Porsche say they were going to base that out of Germany. And then Honda came in, we're going to have a works team based out of Japan. Like, they would also be very compelling. And then if we were to miss out on, although Honda are in and out, so I'm just like, actually, you know what, Honda, just go away for a bit. If you can't make your mind up, then we're not taking you back because you just leave again. So actually, ignore Honda. But I'm just saying, other brands come along. So, no, GM don't own Vauxhall anymore. They sold it to Stellantis. So yeah, there's that as a factor, which I kind of think is valid. Cheers, Alex. In my opinion, if we have 13 plus brands who are serious in F1, let's let them join. I think I'd like to see 12. Maybe we could do more than 12. But I just know. I feel like once you get above 12, it starts to get a little bit... especially, obviously, certain tracks. Monaco, prime example. I know there's a lot of anti-Monaco sentiment. I understand it. But, 26 cars going around Monaco. We have enough problems with blue flags and not even just at tracks like Monaco, because all tracks we have issues with, like qualifying, like Q1. They would also, if you have more teams, they'd have to kind of maybe change up Q1, Q2, Q3 a bit, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. But there's a lot that goes into it, I think being all P50 is a safety car. Imagine. 26 cars on Austria is fatal. It's a good point, Victoria. It's a very good point. Like you see how much they would have to change up qualifying. They couldn't keep it the same. If it was, they'd have to like split the grid like they do sometimes in F2. Like in F2, they do that around Monaco, where they do like 2 sessions for qualifying. But you could split the session for Q1 maybe. You have 13 cars and 13 cars, and then split the session for Q1, and then Q2 you kind of put them back together. They could make it work. They could definitely make it work. I know the idea of change is, oh my god, change. But they'd be fine. They'd make it work. And I think an all-American team as well. I know I saw, Scott Mitchell was talking about it, and it makes sense that was a very, Andretti know how much F1 have got like a massive thing for the US market. I'm sure there's a lot of Americans out there watching. F1 want you. Okay? Most of you, on average, Americans are now my biggest viewers. So yeehaw. God. But obviously, having like an all US team, which Haas never really was. Again, my understanding, the initial idea is that the engineering base would be in the UK for the team until Andretti finished their new facility in Indiana. We'll see about that. USA. Escalade medical car. Maybe. No, you just put nitrous in it. Just put some NOS. Obviously, you got the spinners on the Escalade. Stick some NOS. Go full Need for Speed Underground 2 on it. Big body kit. So, boom. Would be mad. We don't say yeet. What do you mean, Ass? Of course you do. Of course you do. I'd love to visit Kentucky, actually. That'd be great. Thank you, C, for the €10. WTF1 are making a huge mistake. They are bringing people... Look. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds for WTF1. Ultimately, right? Whether or not you like WTF1, like the content, like what I do, the good thing with F1 independent content creation is there's something for everyone, which is lovely. There is something for everyone. There's something for me. There's something for you. There's something for your brother and your sister and your uncle and your aunt, right? Hannah just tried to call me. I just replied back to her, I'm live. So yeah, there's something for everyone. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But you know what you're getting here, okay? You know what you're getting with this channel, with me, right? Me waffling about the sport I love with you lot. So thank you for joining me for the ride. Pleasure as always. Why's my phone just like buzzing like mad? Thank you. Thank you again, Socks. I date an American. Y'all say yeehaw. See? That's all the evidence I need. Thank you, Fawn Kid, as well. Appreciate it. And thank you, Krishna. Would it be cool if Lotus returned with Cosworth? Yeah, Lotus is an interesting one because Lotus is... Well, I think Lotus are Chinese owned now, right? I think it's Geely who are a Chinese automotive brand. And I think they own Lotus now. But they're obviously pushing hard for electric, which obviously there's a big electrical component in Formula One from 2026. So maybe I wouldn't be surprised. It just depends on if they're just going to stick to really niche cars and really expensive cars. They've got the Evija, or whatever it's called. I don't know. Maybe it would be cool though. It would be good. Seth, thank you, Seth, for your honesty and your contribution, my friend. Appreciate it. Geely also owns Volvo. Yeah, they do. They're right. That's a good point. But no, the potential Andretti, because I feel like we could get Andretti Cadillac if the F1 teams stop being annoying, which we'll talk about in a minute. We could get them in before 2026. I mean, the original plan and what Michael Andretti's been talking about for a long time is the idea of getting in for 2024. They're talking about that as early as, I think, February last year, maybe even earlier than that. They've apparently got a deal with an engine supplier, probably Renault, but then they've also got a relationship with Honda, pre-existing from IndyCar, because the Andretti IndyCars run Honda engines. The facility in the UK, I imagine they've already started hiring for, maybe. Certainly the Indiana facility they have. Maybe 2024 would be a bit early to actually get it all done. But also if they're going to, be a customer team, run a customer chassis, not a customer chassis, customer engine, sorry. Again, probably Renault, seems to be. Then I think it could happen. Cheers, Huckle. USA. Come back in May, Kentucky Derby in Indy 500. Oh, yeah, that's a blinder, to be fair. Not that I'm actually, I've never watched horse racing. Never kind of got it, to be fair. But I'm a bit nervous of horses. They're big and unpredictable. But yeah, look, there's a lot of... We'll see, because it feels like, right now we've got Sauber run the race team, Alfa Romeo title sponsors and inject money through their title sponsorship, and then Ferrari supply the engine. It feels like Andretti Cadillac will kind of be similar to that, where obviously Andretti run the race team. Andretti do what Sauber do, then Cadillac do what Alfa Romeo do, and then Renault / maybe Honda do what Ferrari do. You know, it seems to be that kind of balance, I guess. But we'll see. We will see, won't we? But yeah, in terms of the teams, I don't really get the resistance. I don't understand the resistance, because teams talk about diluting the prize pool, but then that's why the 200 million entry fee to get in, that's where it comes from. But the more I think about it, 200 million sounds like a lot, right? 200 million sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, okay? I know, I'm firmly aware 200 million is a lot of money, okay? Dollars, pounds, whatever. It's dollars, but the thing is, right, when you split that between all 10 teams, 20 million apiece, dollars. The difference between finishing sixth and seventh, we know from Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin, because it was level on points, was about $12 million. So the amount of money that everyone's receiving, because also everyone would be receiving it, all the teams, I guess equally, makes sense. I don't see why that wouldn't be divvied out equally. Does that money justify another competitor coming in to the teams? The thing is, right, I understand. If you're Toto Wolff, say, tell me now, right, chat, what benefit does it have for Toto Wolff as Mercedes team principal and 1/3 owner as well? What benefit comes to Toto if Andretti Cadillac join F1? The only benefit is that them joining increases the total product of F1 around the world, and therefore Mercedes are a big part of that, so then they get bigger. The potential downsides, again, another competitor who's not only taking a bit of your prize pot, which, again, if they don't increase the total prize pot, but also another car that can potentially drive into you, or overtake you, or take your drivers, or take your personnel. Ultimately, I get it from Toto's point of view, as an example. And I know he's not the only team principal talking about it, but I'm just going to use Toto as an example because he's been quite vocal. I get it. But of course, like, it's your job as a team principal to look out for yourself, to look out for your team above all else. That's your job. And he's doing it by defending his... The thing is, they shouldn't have why have they got a say? I think we're long past the times where F1 needs the teams to be so on board that they get loads of decision-making powers. I think the product is strong enough now that in the next version of the Concord Agreement, whenever that is, why do the teams get a say? But why should they have a say? I don't understand why they should have a say. The stream will upload automatically later. So all good. Hello, Sava. Welcome. Fan experience is nonsense. All the fans want it. The common sentiment I've seen, everyone wants more teams, wants more drivers, and would back an Andretti Cadillac. There's only a few who are very anti-American. They're like, oh no, we can't have more American influence in F1. Like, whatever, shut up. Like, everyone's positive about it, you know? I don't understand now. Like, yeah, okay, maybe when F1 wasn't as big, they probably felt reliant on, we need Ferrari, we need these big teams. For me, right, the commercial power is with the drivers more so than the teams, really. Like, say for example, okay, say tomorrow, every single team removed both its drivers and brought two brand new ones in who'd never been in F1 before. And then imagine an alternative reality where all the drivers stayed, but all their teams changed. So instead of Lewis and George racing for Mercedes, they were racing for Porsche, for example. You can't tell, like, people are drawn by the individuals, the drivers, more so than the teams. And with the cost cap, I just don't think you need... The star power comes from the drivers, not from the teams. I get Ferrari have heritage, but Charles Leclerc's a very handsome man. And he's very good at what he does. You know? Even Ferrari, I just think that if every single team got replaced, if Ferrari got replaced by Lamborghini, if Mercedes got replaced by Porsche, if McLaren got replaced by Lotus, right? But all the drivers stayed the same, I think just as many people would watch. If all the drivers got swapped out for all these new characters, I think a lot of people would switch off. More so. Obviously, I'd still watch it because it'd be sick to see, like, oh my God, all these new drivers. But I'm just saying that the star power, I think, comes from the drivers more so than the teams. They all agreed to the Concorde. Yeah, so I think it was 2020. Oh no, I know the drivers do get switched, but not all at the same time. I'm saying like all 20 drivers get switched at the same time. Which, you know, imagine the scenes. So like, I just think that F1 is... I think F1 used to be in a stage where it relied more so on the power of these brands, of these big manufacturers, to help the sport and keep the sport alive. But now I think the F1 product is strong enough that it doesn't need, and therefore it's in a stronger bargaining position to be like, no, you know what, we make the rules now. You adhere by... If you leave, we've got 4 more manufacturers who are ready and waiting. Because I feel that way. That's how I feel. Yeah, most of the vast majority say 12. 12 just makes sense, you know. And yeah, look, maybe I'm sure it's different in Italy with Ferrari. I get that, but I think 100% this is the case for 9 of the 10 teams on the grid. Maybe not Ferrari, but of 9 of the 10 teams, at least, I'm sure that's the case. So yeah, I think it is a shame. It's really interesting seeing kind of this FIA F1, you know, resistance. Because again, I don't even think it's F1, the organisation. It's the teams, it feels like. I don't see why F1, the organisation, Formula 1, would be against a new team coming in. I can understand why the teams would be. I can understand it. I don't agree. But I can understand it. So, you know, it's just, I don't know. Thank you, Alex. Carlton Hurt has signed for 27 for IndyCar, but contract can be broken. I think K-Mag is a good shout to get one of the Cadillac seats. He was at Cadillac. Kevin Magnussen did drive a Cadillac during his year off, didn't he? So there is a connection there. It's a good point. It's a very good point, Alex. Thank you again, Socks. Very generous. I'm a teams person myself, stuck with Jaguar and still stick with that team now. That's nice. I like that. I respect that, regardless of who's in the seat. I think you're in the minority, for sure. But there's definitely people who are more team. Look, for me, like, yeah, man, I think when I first started making these videos and I first started kind of putting myself out there, I would have said McLaren was my kind of team. Now, I just don't really care, to be honest. Like, I just like the underdog. Whoever's the underdog, I will root for. I've got more kind of nuance with the drivers, but with teams, I just want whoever's slower to do better. I don't have a... Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make a poll. Thank you, Ilse. What's the... How am I going to word this? What's the bigger drivers or teams? So what do you think's the bigger kind of commercial factor for Formula One, driver or team? again, the example, if all of the teams were changed versus if all the drivers were changed, what would have a bigger negative impact on the following of the sport? Because for me, it's drivers for sure. Thank you, Struggle God. Appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. No, I do hope. Honestly, I do hope they get it across the line. I really do. Thank you again, mate. Do you see them running their team like their IndyCar team? Well, because so Andretti already have a base in the UK. It's near Banbury, because I had a look. Because I'm making my video. Is where they have their Formula E team base. Now, whether they would use that location as their engineering hub, I don't know enough about that location. That to know whether it would be kind of, appropriate for that. But yeah, I just feel like they just need to let them in. Just let them in. Let them in. What's the geezer shaking the rail? Let me in. That. Let him in. Thank you, Taylor, as well. Kind of annoying that they want to have so many races in the US but push back on a US team. Well, look, this is where also the 26% route for Ferrari, actually. Yeah, look, I just think that as the calendar becomes less European centric, which I think it will. Kyalami seems inevitable. First African Grand Prix for a long time. There was talk, wasn't there, about like a Colombian Grand Prix, calling it like the Pacific Grand Prix, which would be it would be the second South American race, because there's just Interlagos at the moment, because Mexico is in North America. And so that would be like, to have a second Grand Prix in South America would be great. I don't see any more European Grand Prix coming. You feel like inevitably China's going to come back on the calendar. Oh, sorry, yeah, I meant Caribbean Grand Prix. My bad. Pacific Ocean isn't that far off, is it? Greece, that'd be good. But yeah, I feel like as time goes on, yeah, there will always be a benefit to being based out of Europe, because just by its geography, everything's so close together, all these different countries. But I think having eventually Andretti, Cadillac based permanently out of Indiana, which you feel like will eventually happen, maybe. If they can't get the talent, then they might just stay in the UK, because obviously the UK is where all the engineers go between teams, so it's going to be a bit easier to assemble the dream team out of the UK, out of Europe generally. But yeah, we shall see. That's my thoughts on it, really. I don't know if my thoughts are particularly, controversial or not, but yeah, I just feel like I hope they let them in. They've ticked all the boxes. They're not going to be a HRT or a Manor or a Virgin Racing or any of that. Like, that's not going to happen. A, because of the budget cap. Because bear in mind, yeah, you had teams back in like pre-budget cap spending, I've heard figures of like 400 million per season, which is like, of course, like a new team's not going to be able to hang with that. That's ridiculous. But again, the budget caps, I feel like it's doing its job. Budget cap combined with these new regulations that make it much more electric. Woo, cool. Like, sweet. If you get more teams through the door, then I'm cool with that. Replace Vegas with anything. Look, Vegas might be great. Okay, let's just hold our opinions. Okay, we'll see. We will see. Didn't Renault spend didn't Toyota spend like $1 billion as well? Like, all told. And that's the thing, again, you with this, sure, yeah, not everything's covered in the budget cap. Facilities, facility costs and all that, like, there's a lot that isn't included. So it doesn't completely, but it goes away to leveling the playing field somewhat, right? And I know we got to iron out the creases with all the overspend. Oh, got to wait 10 months after every championship's finished to actually know who's actually won, because if they've overspent, blah blah blah. I get that. It's his first year of it. Like, there's going to be teething problems. There's going to be teething problems. But yeah, 12 teams. One of them being Andretti Cadillac would be lovely. Do I think they'll wait till 2026? No, I don't think they'll wait till 2026. Because I think as well, like, there's no one else is joining before 2026. The only team potentially is Andretti. And I would say maybe for 2025. So if they come in as the first on their own as well, they get all of the focus as this new team. If they wait till 2026, where, say, Porsche, for example, I don't know, set up a team, then it's kind of the attention is split, you know? Split down the middle. But we'll see. And Hyundai brought in Cyril. Yeah, look, Hyundai, there's definite substance behind those rumours. I've got no doubt in my mind. Bringing Cyril Beatable in to the fold, you know, secretly to help work on their F1 bid, that would be sick. That'd be really cool. You know, to see a brand, particularly, that's what's nice about Andretti. You know, you've got Mario, 1978 world champion. You've got Michael, 1993, raced alongside Ayrton Senna at McLaren. You've got Cadillac, a brand, a high-profile GM American brand that's never been in. Oh my god! I'll just turn this on. This is really good. It's a bubble eraser. You know when you get little bubbles on your clothes, you turn this on, and then it like gets the bubbles off. But I just accidentally turned it on because I'm fiddling. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, so Cadillac don't have any F1 pedigree, and then Hyundai have no F1 pedigree. They've got good motorsport pedigree. Pedigree. I've just said pedigree so many times. It's lost meaning. Debobble Minton. Minton, do you want to be debobbled? He's asleep. He's had a busy day. But yeah. GM's a large. I don't know. I think Ford's bigger than GM now. 4 out of 5 pedigree. Brilliant. Yeah, we'll see. What is there? What else is there? Is there any other news to talk about? Apparently, Ferrari have put Binotto on gardening leave, so he can't go to another team in 2023, which is kind of sad. That would have been cool. Yeah, actually, I'll get Minton. I'll bring Minton on cam. Hey, Ryan's caught a Tommo live stream just as I'm about to finish. Sorry, Ryan. It happens, you know. It happens. Right, come on, sausage. Say hello to everyone. Oh, come here. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Detective Inspector Minton. Hello, mate. What's going on? You been having a kip? He's had a busy day. We've been out today. Shooting a Last Lap podcast, actually. And he came along. So, yeah. Hey. Look how tired he is. Why are you so sleepy? This is not possible that you can be this sleepy. So I think part of it is because I've got my key light up there. So it's probably quite like, my eyes. But, oh yeah, we still don't have a Williams team principal, do we? I wonder if they've actually got someone yet, or they're still vetting candidates. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? I'd love to be optimistic about Albon and Williams next year, but I'm not optimistic. That is actually mad. That I just clocked that they still haven't announced the new team principal. Yeah, I mean, Jensen x Ross Brawn would be at Williams would be an absolute phenomenal vibe. I would absolutely love that. I'd be all on board the Williams hype train. Noisy belly. Yeah, that's where Matt and Tom have gone. They've gone to take over Williams. Ford out revenued GM according to the stats I looked up anyway. Yeah, I think Nico Rosberg will be able to go back in the paddock this season because I think F1 have relaxed their you need to be jabbed rules. So you won't get Nico Rosberg in an awkward hotel room anymore, which was kind of quite entertaining. But I think Nico's actually a really good pundit. So it will be nice to hopefully see him back again. But yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming. 45 minutes of waffle. Keep your eyes out for later this week. I just finished the livery redesign for the Cadillac Andretti F1 team. But I'm putting together a video for that. And yeah, I will see you then. Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I'm going to say Thursday is the video day. I'm not promising Wednesday. Thursday. All right. Like the stream, subscribe, check, make sure you're subscribed. Thank you all. PJ, Neo, Christian, 707 Jake, Atharfa, Caramel, Southern, SARS, RN, Seth, Lusa, Lost Charmander, Dreamer. See, Lost Charmander is a prime example. Stands out, and your profile picture it connects. You know, that's why I always clock you because it's a good connection. You know, to profile picture and name. Crows, their Blue Ferrari fan. Smokey, Nick, Lewis, Ryan, David, Shanky, Martin, Tactical Watermelon again. Big up. BT Clarkson, Lewis, Christian. Say bye, Minton. Say bye to all your loyal fans, all your subscribers. Subscribe more for more Sausage Dog. All right, cheers, everyone. Been a pleasure as always. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Thanks again. Have a good one.